One of the coolest things in my life recently is that I have kids of a certain age now where the kids are starting to do things that make me very proud for the first time. Like they're developing agency and they're doing things where it just sort of like blows your hair back. Like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. And it's made me really love asking people this question about pride, not in themselves, but in other people. And I would love to hear from each of you, what about the other makes them most proud?
It's more
You're talking about Irish.
Exactly, introspection and vulnerability.
Coming from an Irish person, which gives me license to ask the question.
It's almost...
Exactly.
Well, look, I mean, this is very relevant for this discussion. John has been serving as our interim CFO for most of this year, and I think it has always been true that John has been a scholar of business and. I remember when we were living together in sort of an apartment in San Francisco, I'd be sort of shuffling to bed and he'd be, yelling out to me from the bedroom, like, you'll never guess what they said in like this earnings transcript or whatever. Like, John, I'm brushing my teeth. And so, I suppose there's a way of, like for both of us, we're kind of normally engaging in the business as, co-founders with kind of one layer of indirection. And so, we're very lucky to have Stefan Tomlinson joining as CFO in a couple of weeks as of the time of this recording. Maybe by the time it's out, he will in fact have started. But it's been very fun for me to watch John like actually temporarily inhabit the role of CFO, and I think it's been significantly to Stripe's benefit. And so we're both extremely excited about Stefan, but. I've been sort of in the same way that I'm always trying to find a productive sort of equilibrium with our product leaders, where we need to empower them, and a lot of those people are like really fantastic, and it would be kind of a mistake of me to be getting in their way. But I want to find some way to have some amount of productive meddling. And so I think similarly for John, I've been encouraging him to make sure that we retain sufficient productive meddling on the finance side, because he's very good at it. And now we gotta go. Yeah, great.
When we had all that discussion about
go to the bathroom,
quality and craft and everything, that's all Patrick. And in particular, he has a remarkable eye for it and cares about it. It kind of has to be good, because something will be wrong in the universe. He'll be like itching. He'll be sitting, awkwardly in his chair if kind of the stuff isn't good. And we'll, put in the hours. We'll be there, very late the night before our conference, ensuring that the talks are in good form or whatever. But I think how that bleeds over is people really want to do great work because of, I think, the expectations that they know Patrick has of them, and that now they have of themselves. And I think, again, as we talk about culture, there's like a really nice cultural thing at Stripe, where there's like tons of really talented people, and again, people who are meticulous in their craft at Stripe. But again, I think Patrick has set an expectation and a culture there where people maybe start out wanting to do excellent crafts, because it is expected by him of them, and they end up wanting to do it.
And maybe this look, I was kind of describing a capability of John's, and probably there's lots of those, but maybe like another view of Stripe would be that every organization needs you're always trying to kind of balance these dichotomies, and I think lots of things are dichotomies, and you're always trying to just find a reasonable kind of intermediate point, but maybe just like maybe an important one, and somehow one that we straddle is I'm sort of like grim and austere, and joyless, and complaining about the misplaced pixels and all the rest. And John, as everyone who knows him, is cheerful and extroverted and sociable, and is bringing 100 of his closest striped friends to the bar next door on Tuesday because it just opened and we need to inaugurate it. And I think for an organization of humans that do great work, you actually do need both.
Yeah.
Where it has to, you're not going to achieve super high expectations, absent the standards, but it also needs to be a group of people that you want to spend time in it, right? And look, I don't think either of us actually are sort of on either end of the continuum here, and we're probably even less different on this continuum sort of as individuals.
Similarity highlights the contrast.
Exactly, where maybe we kind of play off each other or something, as a duo. But I think there's an interesting, I think in an interesting way, organizations need both of those.
The more Irish appropriate question might have been what does the other do that makes your eyes roll the most easily?
Oh, well, that we need
probably the same answer is actually.
to add another hour to the podcast for that.
Yeah. I think it's been incredibly fun. I know we're coming up on time. I had the pleasure of doing this with John before, and I have a traditional closing question, so I get to direct it at you this time since he's already answered it. What is the kindest thing that anyone's ever done for you?
Yeah, apart from my parents, my principal at the secondary school, which is kind of the high school plus, that I attended in Ireland, it was like a public school, and a very good public school, but a public school that actually wasn't the closest public school, but our relentlessly resourceful mom thought it was better than the most proximate one, and managed to find a way to, basically we had lived in its catchment area when the school was founded or something. She
utility in 1991.
Exactly. So she found some way to persuade them to take us. Anyway, the principal consistently let me violate all sorts of policies and rules, and turned a blind eye to many things over the years, in such a way that I had a fabulous time in my 5 years there, and at first it was I just wanted to sort of read my books during class, and I thought I was being very sort of deviously and effectively furtive in having nobody notice.
No one knows what I'm doing.
Exactly. In the small little classroom, there's no way this teacher could spot this. But I learned subsequently that he had just quietly instructed all the teachers to not complain about my ignoring, I guess, the classwork and just reading my book. And I did the homework or whatever, took the test, but I wasn't paying much attention in class. And then at this other stage, I wanted to kind of take some time out of school, mostly to spend it on working on this programming language. And he, found a way to categorize this so that, it worked. It worked in theory.
In school.
Exactly. Yeah, so actually, I did a lot of it physically in the school. I think this, in parts where he could argue, well, he's at school. You didn't ask me if he was going to the classes. And then at the end, I wanted to go to college in the US and not do the standard examination that everyone in Ireland does, and so on. And again, he kind of kept finding ways to make it sort of work in theory. And very tragically, he died a few years after I left school, and suddenly at a sort of premature and early age. And so I did thank him, but I always felt regretful that I never felt that I had kind of sufficient opportunity to thank him.
It's amazing how much this category of answer comes up.
Yeah.
The two major ones are this one of someone noticed something about me and did something customized sort of and shaped me in a certain way, or bet on me when they didn't need to. Just kind of, in some ways, the same thing.
Yeah.
It just comes up over and over again. I hope more and more people do that for others. Well, it's amazing.
I think you're doing a huge service by highlighting those cases to a bunch of people who are in the position to do it.
Correct.
I don't know if this is I don't know if this was your intent in asking this question, or if this is now a cool side benefit.
You want to know where the question came from? So I do this as a hobby, still as my favorite hobby. Effectively, I'm focused on investing, but this is something I love to do. It's like a cheat code for meeting people. It's proven very effective. And I didn't know how to do it. I'm not a journalist or anything. And so I was really into the mythology, like Joseph Campbell's, like, hero's journey or whatever. And it's all this like same story for all these great historical myths. And so I thought I would ask a question in the podcast that covered each of the 9 stages of the hero's journey. And one of them, that's like stage 3 or 4, is random helpers come, and assist the hero on their quest, like before they get to the belly of the beast. And so the question was just like, what's the kindest thing? But I had these 9 questions, and the rest of them sucked. Like no one ever cared. But that one always got an awesome answer. And so that's the only one that lasted. So that's where it came from. I wish I had higher intentions.
Oh, that's really funny. Well, I think you're now, creating more kind moments.
Yeah. Well, it's a testament to how interesting just the core thing that you have worked on and will continue to work on is that, like, we didn't even get to in 2 hours, AI and like all these other amazing things happening in the world of technology. But I'm really glad that we focused on the core thing because that's what got you here and that's what you're focused on for the future. And I'm deeply appreciative of the time and all the insight and all the detail that's gone into it. So thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.